There we go. That'll do. We went and saw American Ultra. It was very good.
Yeah, I dug it.
Hang on. It needs a little bit more violet. There we go. Yeah, we saw American Violet. It was very ultra. It was Jesse Eisenberg and K. Stu as like this stoner couple living in West Virginia. And then Topher Grace shows up and he wants to murder them. I got the impression that maybe he had dated K. Stu's character at some point because he seemed like way too vitriolic to have like no incentive.
Like, I didn't really get that, but now that you say it, I kind of see what you mean.
Because, like, maybe it was just that he was just that evil of a character, just, unrepentantly evil, but he kept, like, whenever he had her in the same area as him, he seemed to be kind of gloating, like, we got your stoner boyfriend. So.
Well, I mean, and immediate spoilers in case you were watching this and then hoping
they know
to immediately go see it. But, yeah, I mean, she did work in the same building as him at one point. They could have just known each other.
Co-workers that disliked each other.
Yeah.
But anyway, so he activates the tough guys to go and kill Jesse Eisenberg, who is codenamed Wise Man. And so his like, it seemed like there had been some sort of power play right before the movie started, where the lady CIA person used to be in charge, and now Topher Grace is in charge, and so she went and activated Jesse Eisenberg's character, and then he went kill crazy, and that's basically the rest of the movie. For me, the more interesting part was the relationship between the two of them.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Because it's, like, a lot of times when you've got a couple like that messed up and that kind of dumb and stoned out of their minds, it's easy to just kind of play them off as a punchline unto themselves. But, like, you kind of really felt for them and you got the impression that, which turned out to be true, that there was more to them than met the eye. And you could really feel that they were in love with each other. And that kind of, when she ended up getting kidnapped and then he had to go save her, I wasn't so much mad as I was actually, like, pulling for him to go save her, because it seemed like previously in their relationship, she had kind of had the daddy pants on, and she was in charge of cooking, because whenever he tried to cooking, he'd forget that he was cooking, and then the kitchen would catch on fire. And Topher Grace at one point said, like, was it Topher Grace or some other? No, it was that sheriff who, again, I thought might be her dad, but that might have been me reading too much into the characters in this movie. Who kept pulling them over because it was a fair bet that Jesse Eisenberg had pot on him. He said to K. Stu, like, oh, you're his girlfriend, you're his maid, you're his landlady, and now you're his lawyer.
Yeah, you're his girlfriend, you're his mom.
Yeah. And that was definitely the impression you got from their relationship. And then, so when she got, captured, now I wouldn't call it kidnapped because it turned out she worked for the CIA.
Yeah.
Spoilers. When she got taken by the CIA and kind of held, and he had to run in there guns a-blazing and rescue her, it was less a, gotta save the girlfriend, and more a now their roles are reversed and he has to look out for her. So I like that about it. Plus, like, so many heads exploded in this movie.
Yeah. Oh god, yeah.
There's a lot of those scenes in the previews, where like you see the scene where he's kind of hunched down behind the cabinet and he throws the frying pan up and like bounces a bullet off of it and shoots a guy. But there's a lot of just like throw off stuff where, like, I think maybe he shot the guy, but his head just straight up exploded. It was like, here was the head in the frame, and it just
yeah.
He just went running past it because that wasn't the point of that particular journey.
I did like the fact that they pointed out the implausibility of the first death in the movie when they're sitting in the jail cell.
I got the guy in the throat with a spoon and his lungs exploded. In case he was like, that doesn't make any sense.
Your lungs aren't even in your throat.
Yeah, they are. No, they're not. Fuck, I'm so stoned. But yeah, it was a pretty implausible movie, but I like movies like this. You know, where it's like the ultra-violence mixed with actual human interaction. I like...
Like, if the two leads... I honestly like the entire cast, but especially if the two leads weren't as strong as they were, this movie wouldn't be very good. Like,
I agree.
Jesse and Kristen totally carried this movie.
They did. They carried this movie, and I really enjoyed Topher Grace as well. Like, it's been a while since I've seen him in a good movie.
It was when I thought of him that I was like, honestly, the whole cast, because he was good too.
Because, like I said, he's playing a just that's his main character trait, is that he's evil and full of himself. But the fact that it's Topher Grace and he's acting his little heart out made him seem like an actual person and not just like a cardboard cutout with some guns strapped to it.
Yeah.
The problem is this movie was good, and that's making me have a hard time finding stuff to say about it. I would definitely recommend going to see it.
I mean, I guess we could talk through the plot and see if that brings anything up.
That's the thing, is we could, because, like, yeah, basically, she activates him, he goes kill crazy, there's this great scene with John Leguizamo.
She being Lassiter, who we haven't really talked about.
Yes, I keep forgetting her name, which I shouldn't, because it's the name of the detective character from Psycho I really like.
Oh, I didn't know that.
You know Psych? It's so good. I'm gonna talk about Psych for a second. It's got Timothy Ormanson in it as Detective Lassiter, who's kind of like this, he's like the stick-in-the-mud police character, but he's got a really good sense of humor. And he's the reason that I didn't watch Deadwood, because he shows up as a character. I'm like, Lassie's here! And then they push him off a cliff and he dies, and I'm like, nope, done with that series. But yeah, her name was Lassiter, and she was, I don't know, she kept showing up to kind of help him out. Her character I didn't really identify that much with, but I don't know, she did pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't identify with her all that much, but I didn't dislike her as a character either. So.
Oh yeah, no, there weren't any characters I think I actively disliked. I did particularly like John Leguizamo and his brute squad, or whatever you'd call them. He had like this. He was like Jesse Eisenberg's drug dealer. And so, when shit starts hitting the fan, they're like, oh, let's go over to Rose's place. He's got guns. And so they go over there, and John Leguizamo is the drug dealer, and he's got these fantastic tattoos of epaulets on his shoulder, and I actually look at his tattoos! They're epaulets, that's amazing! And so then his henchmen show up, and it's like this big fat black guy and this tall skinny black guy, and they had a kind of cute moment where the tall skinny black guy was like, oh yeah, I know you, we do fantasy football together. And John was like, I never got invited to play fantasy football. Meh.
And the other guy's like, it's alright, I didn't either. And he's like, well, that doesn't make me feel any fucking better. Nobody tells you anything. And he just sits down and he's like, that hurt my feelings.
Starts pouting. That's hurtful, man. And then they all die.
Yeah, they do. Almost immediately.
But not before, It was a strange scene where they're watching the TV, and I guess that the cover story the CIA was using was that there's an ultra typhoid outbreak, because they were showing pictures of Lassiter saying, like, this woman fucked a bunch of monkeys. And
yeah, like, obviously whoever was
typhoid.
Coming up with that cover story didn't like Lassiter.
I think probably it was Topher Grace.
A very spiteful cover story.
But they also show a picture of Jesse Eisenberg, and like, oh, and he's got it too, and so John Leguizamo locks him downstairs in his, like, blacklight nudie pick weight room that he has in the basement.
Yeah, is that what it was? It was a weight room?
Because there was, like, weights and, like, some...
I didn't notice the weights.
Like a big wall of mirrors. They smashed a bunch of mirrors in this movie.
They did smash a lot of mirrors. A lot of glass.
They were trying to, like, say something or not, but a lot of mirrors got smashed. But there were also these gigantic, garish blacklight paintings of, like, naked ladies, one of which was just a gigantic ass with, like, a thing just going boop right up to your butt cheeks. It's like, if that's what you want to work out, do, man. But I did like in the blacklight scene that they actually looked like people look like in a blacklight. Yeah,
I really wanted to see Laffer in that lighting, because I think it would have been goddamn horrifying.
Yeah, there was like the tough guys that they were sending after them. It turned out were like mental patients that they had recruited.
Yeah, she said they were mental patients, and then someone said they were mental patients, but she described it as just being people who were on, like, their last offense before jail. They were given the option to be tested.
That was the,
Oh, that's right. That was the...
Yeah, that was the Wiseman Project, was like...
I keep thinking that it was all the same thing, and I was really confused for a while and thought that, like, the tough guys and Wiseman were the same experiment.
Yeah, because the tough guys were... The tough guys were Topher Grace's babies, and then the wise men were Lassiter's babies. And the wise men were people on their third offense, and he'd like gotten arrested for acid, and then somebody got into the program. But the tough guys, Okay, so Lasseter's got this guy who used to be her assistant, and he's that guy that won an Oscar, I think, for writing Descendants. I could be confused, but that's what I thought. I think that's who he was.
I didn't really recognize him. I couldn't say either way.
And so he was like kind of helping her out on the sly. So he sent a Dropbox full of a bunch of guns.
Just a tiny bit. I feel like I'm like climbing on top of you.
Okay. There we go. Slanty. So, he sent her a Dropbox full of guns, but then it also had, like, portfolios on the different tough guys, and she was flipping through, and it kept being like, mental patient, escaped, arson, family in a panic, you know, so I think that was the backstory for that. But Laffer was the main one, and he also looked familiar, but I suck at remembering these things, but he was called Laffer because he'd just start cackling for no reason, and I think he must have been the one that was the arsonist, because of that time he set the car on fire.
Yeah, he's like, I'm gonna do something really bad. And in that
I thought he was gonna rape her. I was a little scared.
I did too. Oh my god. I was sitting there like, because like that would have been a really horrifying scene if he had. Because like
he said, I'm gonna do something bad, and then just grabs her legs and start dragging her away.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, please.
Oh god, that would have been horrifying. I don't know.
He
if,
just
like,
set a car on fire with the person.
Yeah, because Jesse was trapped underneath the car, and so like I was definitely thinking it was setting it up that like Laffer was gonna rape his girlfriend in front of him while he's trapped under the car and
while he's like all insecure about their relationship, you know.
Yeah, because they hadn't really, like, as soon as they were talking in the car about the fact that Kristen Stewart is actually his handler, it turns out that, like, Kristen Stewart basically went AWOL and just stopped checking in.
But he didn't know that at the time.
But he didn't know that at the time,
so he
thought that she was just, like, the CIA had told her to pretend to be his girlfriend all this time. That, like, everything she'd done was planned by the CIA, and he thought their relationship was fake. And before she has a chance to explain, the car flips.
Yes. And then she gets dragged away to maybe rape. But turned out not.
No, he just, yeah, when he was, like, going up to her, like, I want to show you something, I'm like, no. Still a little worried.
Please, no.
I don't want to see it.
Yeah, Laffer was terrifying. I thought that woman in the prison was pretty terrifying. And then past that, it was just a squadron of
the one who was assigned with Laffer originally.
Yeah, the kind of stoic black-haired lady.
There were a lot of scenes where, like, I expected it to go more horrifying than it did, though. Like, when the cop who pulled them over in the beginning, who I totally thought was going to be more important than dude who gets immediately blown up in a police station, like, 10 minutes in.
Well, like I said, this movie is 90 minutes, so it could very well be that they cut out a scene where they explain why the fuck this guy cares so much, but they...
I mean, it kind of just seemed like it was like a small town and he's just been dealing with this dude for a long time.
Yeah,
but,
it could be.
Yeah, no, oh, yeah, but I was expecting it to get a lot more horrifying when, like, she had, like, taken out everybody but that guy and, like, shot him through the wrist, and I'm like, oh god, I don't like torture scenes.
No, it's okay.
But it wasn't one. Yeah, well, she wasn't even the one who killed him, because he takes handcuffs ankle to chair.
Yeah, he foot cuffed her to a chair.
Which slows her down a little.
It's kind of dragging the chair. It's more of an annoyance than a hindrance.
Yeah.
I could have sworn, because then, I think that she then shot him, because he was like, get away, run, you guys, and then she just...
Oh, if she did, I didn't catch that. I thought she just grabbed the chair and ran after them.
Either way, the building exploded right after that.
Yeah, so
possibly Jesse
died
Eisenberg
somehow.
killed him.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah. I did actually, I really liked the conversation they had after that, because they lock Laffer in the jail cell. Laffer survives that scene and survives. He might actually survive the movie. They never actually. They kind of leave his fate. They leave his fate really ambiguous. At the end.
Because they kind of have like a "you're just like me, man" moment, and then Jesse Eisenberg doesn't kill him, and then K-Stu breaks out over where she's doing stuff.
Yeah,
and comes around and Laffer's just gone.
I guess he's
just roaming the countryside, setting stuff on fire.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they lock Laffer in the jail cell. The entire time I kept forgetting his name in the movie and just referring to him as Jesse. Mike?
Yeah, because he had the name tag Mike.
That's right. Yeah.
Howell or something.
But yeah, I remembered his last name was Howell. Yeah, Mike he got the gun away from Laffer at one point, and then gets him locked in the jail cell, but there's a gun still sitting on the ground, and he goes, "Oh no, Phoebe, the gun!" And so Laffer picks up the gun and starts firing, and then when the girl tough guy, who I believe was the only girl, I was kind of looking along the rows of them when they were in the truck.
Yeah.
The female tough guy, as they're running away, she goes, "Wait!" And Jesse goes, "Huh? What?" And then he gets a grenade thrown at him, which he then throws back into the police station. But after they run away, Kristen's like, "A few things before we move on. First of all, when there's a gun, you don't go, 'Oh, look, the gun.'"
And she kind of cites those as reasons why he shouldn't be in charge of making the plan going forward.
and then she's like, "And
like,
when the
okay,
killer
I'm
tells
sorry,
you
don't
to
yell at
wait,
me."
you don't turn around and go, 'Huh? What? What could you possibly want? Woman trying to kill me?'"
And in retrospect, I shouldn't have done that. I understand. He's a good boyfriend.
They were really adorable.
They were a cute couple. And then at the end, when everything is done exploding, and they're walking out, they walk out to just a sea of police cars, and all with like the lasers trained on them, which are green now apparently. I thought they were red, but they're green.
Yeah, I've never seen them be green before.
They looked like they were in a rave, but he chose that moment to propose to her, and just like it was like playing this really cute love song over it, and she's like crying, and she puts it on, and they go to kiss, and then he gets his ass tased, and just and then falls over, and she's like, "Can't you guys give us like a minute?" And then she gets tased, and she also fell over. That was one of my favorite scene in the movie.
A really cool shot of them like laying
on the ground, and the taser wires are crossed.
Yeah, I really dug that scene.
Just a lot of like little
there was
touches.
a lot of I was gonna say there was a lot of stuff where I was like, that's really cool.
Like I like they had tattoos of each other's eye. Just like the eyebrow and then the eye part on each other's ankles. I thought that was really sweet.
I did too. I
that
really
wouldn't have occurred to me.
I liked that.
You see like couples tattoos, and they're usually kind of either chintzy or regrettable in 5 years, or just getting the same thing. But like each other's eyeballs, that's something I'd do.
Oh yeah, I think I would too. I didn't realize they were supposed to be each other's eyes. I thought they just had the same eye tattoo, but now that you've pointed out that it was that, I like it a lot more.
They showed like the two ankles next to each other when they were laying in bed having like the whole, "Sorry we didn't get to go Hawaii because I had a panic attack" conversation. And you could see that it was her eye, because it's a very Case 2 looking eye, because it's all like straight across and then the eyebrow, and then hers was just kind of blobby, so I guess it must have been Jesse Eisenberg's.
Yeah, now that you mention it, I see what you mean. I guess I wasn't looking that closely and just thought they had matching eye tattoos. Yeah, that is really cool.
Mm-hmm. And I thought it was that. I also liked that the art that he did, because like he worked at kind of a dead end job at a gas station / bodega.
It was like
ish.
It was like a gas station convenience store kind of thing.
But he'd like, to entertain himself, he'd draw behind the counter. He had this big book of this character that he was drawing, Apollo Ape. Mm-hmm. And I thought it was like of an art style and skill that one would expect from a guy like him.
Yeah,
like, good, but not like professional.
I really dug that too. Like it looked like something that someone with like no art classes or training would like. It wasn't bad. It wasn't like shitty drawings.
Sort of like you could tell that he was really good at drawing apes and not so good at drawing ladies.
Yeah,
I thought that was cute.
No, it was really cute. I liked it. I really liked this movie. I don't know why it has such a low rating on Rotten Tomatoes. I really dug this movie.
I was talking to Brad about it earlier, and he said that some of his favorite movies got like 40 or below on Rotten Tomatoes. So you have to take that with a grain of salt. 4%, I think you can take that to the bank. Their movies not doing so good.
40%.
But 40%, that's not so bad. Yeah, that's just people being like, I don't like it when stuff explodes.
Yeah.
Okay, final thought, it's cute. We got Transporter Refueled, which is the first time I've seen that trailer. It was...
Yeah,
I didn't much care for the trailer. It's that one and the next one we got, which was Sisters. I noticed more so than I had before when, like, you can tell that the dialogue was something completely different, but they'd cut out, like, snippets of it to form a cohesive mini-plot for the trailer. So, like, in Transporter, the guy's like, "Yeah, your employer stole something from me." And he's like, "What?" And he's like, "It's not my problem." And they're like, "It is now." And there's a picture of his dad sitting in a chair, like, and then he goes, "Dad," and then like cars, and it's like there's probably more to that conversation.
That one I
because if he just goes, "Dad," in the actual movie, I'm gonna be a little upset.
That one I kind of spaced out on. It wasn't until I noticed you writing them down on your arms and I was like, oh, right, I'm supposed to be reviewing these.
Oh, no, it's good. I mostly just write them down because otherwise I get to the part where I'm like, okay, trailers, and I can't remember a single one.
Oh, no,
so I have to write down all of them.
Yeah, when I remembered that you did that, I'm like, yes. Now I don't have to remember them. Sisters, I'm kind of meh on, but I was digging the song that they played. I really like that song.
Oh, that's Hey Mama by David Guetta.
Yeah.
Featuring Nicki Minaj. It's a good song. It's not terribly progressive, but it's got the
didn't really
the
make
line,
any sense in the movie.
keep the nano nice and ripe for the eating, which is gross. Like, I enjoy a good oral sex lyric, but that's gross.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, Sisters, and then we got We Are Your Friends, which, if that preview is any indication, there's like 20 titles for that movie. It's about like a DJ who's not so good at DJing, but then it turns out he's awesome at DJing, and so he goes to like a DJ mentor, and then he decides he doesn't want to DJ anymore, so he goes and he works in real estate, and he's like, you know what? I'm gonna go back to DJing, and that's the entirety of the trailer and presumably the movie.
I thought it looked kind of okay. Not good, but kind of okay.
Yeah, I think that'll probably be the Bryans, though, so I don't have to worry about it. Okay, Mockingjay 2, which looks good. Mm-hmm. I've read the books for all those, so I know what's gonna happen. And I wasn't terribly fond of the third book in the series, so I'm not excited about it. But it's, it's
I don't know if I guess I won't spoil it because people watching this review are expecting.
Don't spoil it, but we can talk about it later because I'll lay out for you the reasons I hate that book.
No, I was literally just going to say, like, I was wondering if something had happened yet by the time that this movie starts, and then it showed her with that character.
No,
so I realized that hadn't happened yet.
I know exactly what you're talking about. No, it hasn't.
Yeah, no, I was like, I hope you know what I mean.
Because that's the reason I hate that book.
Yeah.
Okay, and then we got Sicario, and I wrote spelling question mark next to it because it flashed by on the screen. It's Benicio del Toro, who's looking silver foxy, and some other people, and they're playing like assassins. And I think he must have gotten his eyelids done because his eyes are way wider than they used to be.
At first I thought that was Hitman, which is the movie I'm seeing tomorrow because it just had the word Hitman on screen for a second.
Have fun with that. But no, this is like, Sicario must be Italian for assassin or something because they kept flashing by words and then whatever they are in the language that they're dealing with.
I don't think it was assassin though because it had...
Yeah, assassin, it had mercenary. I think it might have had hitman.
Yeah, but like all of those translated and then it just said like Sicario.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Maybe that's his name.
Maybe.
Okay, okay. Scout's Guide to the Zombie Apocalypse.
No.
Well, it's got a scene where they're like, it's Scout's Guide to getting your photography badge. And then there's like zombies and they're running towards the scouts and then they slam the gates closed on this zombie woman. And the gates close in such a way that her shirt pops entirely open and her zombie titties are just like flopping out and waving around like right here in the camera. And the scouts are like, huh? And then one turns around and like stands next to them and takes a selfie.
I'm so over zombies at this point. Like, I feel like we went from, like, they were scary, and then they were funny, and now they're just irrelevant, but people are still trying to make them
lazy.
Be both.
It's lazy. At least, like, make them, like, plant people, or, like, werewolves, or, like, mummies. Scouts versus Mummies, I'd probably enjoy that movie more.
Yeah, no, and they had, like, I thought it was gonna be 3 trailers for it because of Rule of 3. Because it had 1 trailer, and then it cut to, like, the following screening is approved again, but, like, that got kind of cut off to, like, resume the trailer.
Yeah.
Because it was, like, it had, like, 2 different scout tips. The first one was getting your something badge, and the second one was photography.
Yeah, the thing is they've made a bunch of, like, interstitial type previews for that. And I've seen all of them. I can't remember any of them except for the photography one because that is exceptionally dumb. Because if they were mummies, you could have a scene where they accidentally untangle her wrappings and then her mummy boobs flop out, And it, whatever.
Would boobs even? Whatever.
The boobs be mummified. They're like gross and veiny. Anyway, Deadpool. We got the Deadpool trailer, which I'd seen this one before because I look them up online when they come out. I'm a little distressed by how they've animated his, like the eyes and his mask. But past that, I think it looks good. And I like seeing TJ Miller. He's like, you look like an avocado had sex with an older avocado.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I really dug that one. I hadn't actually seen it. I've heard so much about it that I pretty much have seen it. Like, I liked that the song was X Gonna Give It To You, because ever since they had that song in that episode of Rick and Morty, whenever I do anything remotely badass, that's the song that plays in my head. I called someone on the phone. First we gonna rock, then we gonna roll.
I do something awesome, it plays Work Hard, Play Hard. Or Bounce by Iggy Azalea. Okay, and then The Night Before, which is probably the one that I'm most excited about.
Oh, same. Yeah, that looked really good.
Because it's like Seth Rogen and Joseph Gordon-Levitt and other guy who I didn't recognize.
I recognized him.
Christmas, Hanukkah, and Kwanzaa are the three friends, and the black guy, the Kwanzaa guy, is like gotten too famous, and Seth Rogen, who's the Hanukkah guy, is about to have a baby, and the Christmas guy, I guess his parents died 14 years ago, so the two have been like hanging out with him every Christmas since then, and so this is gonna be like their last blowout Christmas, and so they all got matching sweaters, and they go out in the town and hijinks ensue, and they plays Wrecking Ball.
Yeah.
And Mindy Kaling says it's a song that you can cry to, you can dance to, and you can do one other thing too, and I'm like, yeah, I kind of agree
It's
with
like
that.
you can cry to it, you can party to it, you can jog to it.
Yes. And that's it. We're out of trailers. I feel like I'm the Phantom of the Opera with the shadow on just like the side of my face.
Oh yeah, I'm kind of getting that too.
I'm being all artsy. So yeah, go see American Ultra. It's pretty good. Go see The Man from U.N.C.L.E. because apparently no one's going to see it. And I want it to do well, so there'll be a sequel. And that's all I got.
Yeah, I need to go see The Man from U.N.C.L.E.
You do, it's so good. It's sexy as hell. Go see Man from U.N.C.L.E.